Hello, Solar Eclipse Timer users. This is Dr. Telepin checking back in. You know, I am so blessed to live close to Marshall Space Flight Center and the U.S. Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, Alabama. The Space and Rocket Center is an incredible place. These facilities have provided me the opportunity to meet a lot of great NASA people and attend many great NASA and space-related events. There is a really big Apollo anniversary this month. This episode is not directly related to eclipses, but it's about the moon, so let me tell you about it. Eclipse event, open app. I am really excited about something this month. This is the 45th anniversary of the Apollo 17 flight. The Apollo 17 lunar module, call sign Challenger, landed on the moon in the Taurus-Littrow Valley on December 11, 1972. One of those moonwalkers, Dr. Harrison Schmitt, is coming to the Space and Rocket Center for a book signing and a dinner, and I am going. You know, out of the billions of people on Earth, only 12 have walked on another celestial body. The United States of America succeeded in having 24 different men orbit the moon, and 12 of those men walked on the moon. This has to be the most select club of men in the world. I've met Alan Bean, the Apollo 12 astronaut who walked on the moon. I've met Jim Lovell and Fred Hayes who orbited the moon. And I've been present at speeches given by Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong, although I did not have the opportunity to actually meet them. This month, I'm going to be able to meet Harrison Schmitt. He was the 12th astronaut of the group to step onto the moon's surface. All of the other moonwalkers were pilots as their primary reason for being Apollo astronauts. Dr. Schmitt was different in that he was a professional geologist as his primary reason for being an Apollo astronaut. He and his commander, Eugene Cernan, spent 3 days on the moon in December of 1972. His book, which he will sign, is called Return to the Moon, and it discusses the possibility of mining helium-3 on the moon so it can be used as a source of power generation here on Earth. I'm in my conference room at my office. You may recognize this room from the solar eclipse video I did with Destin from Smarter Every Day. I wanted to show you around. You'll see why in a minute. This wall behind me is dedicated to the Space Shuttle program. The wall on the other side is dedicated to the Apollo program, and that's what I want to show you. This is the Apollo wall in my office. Here I have the classic picture of Earthrise taken on Apollo 8, the first manned mission ever to orbit the moon. It is signed by Jim Lovell from Apollo 8 and Apollo 13, and Fred Hayes from Apollo 13. Here I have the classic picture of man on the moon. This is a picture of Buzz Aldrin standing on the moon. Since Neil Armstrong wore the lunar excursion camera on his chest, there's no good pictures of Neil Armstrong on the moon alone. All of the pictures are of Buzz Aldrin. But if you look carefully at the reflection in Buzz Aldrin's visor, you can see Neil in the light taking this picture. Here I have a collection of items that I put together to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Apollo 11. It has the Apollo 11 mission patch, the official post office stamps that were released to celebrate it, a commemorative coin, and a picture that reminds us of what was going on in 1969. The country was in the psychedelic period of music. There was tension in the civil rights movement. The Vietnam War was still going on. And landing on the moon had a huge political side, beating the Soviet Union to the moon. This is just a beautiful piece of artwork on a plate commemorating the Eagle has landed for the Apollo 11 landing. This is a postcard from the Marshall Space Flight Center commemorating the Apollo 15 mission. It is dated August 2nd, 1971, during the mission. This is a plaque that commemorates the 35th anniversary of the Apollo 11 landing. This is a framed item I purchased that has all of the official Apollo pins. Now, of interest to me is the Apollo 12 pin, because I met Alan Bean, the Apollo 13 pin, because I met Jim Lovell, and the Apollo 17 pin, because we are going to meet Harrison Schmitt. The thing is, I'm not sure if these are real pins that are wearable. So I want to take these pins out if they are real wearable pins, and I'm thinking that I will wear Apollo 13 since I met Jim Lovell. I'll have my wife wear Apollo 12 since she also met Alan Bean, and I will let my son wear Apollo 17 since he is going to have the opportunity to meet Harrison Schmitt, a man who has walked on the moon. So let's take it apart and see if these are real pins or just the front plate. Okay, here we go. Let's take it off the wall and look at the back. Yep, we'll be able to get it apart. Okay, so we're going to open this picture frame up from the back. The hanging wire is in my way from opening it, so I'm going to get that wire out of the way. So let's open it up and see what's in here. Look, they are real pins. So they all have the post and the little clip on the back to be able to wear them. So I will be able to do this. I'll be able to take the pins out for the night of the Harrison Schmitt dinner and then put them back in. So I am really excited about that.
That was pretty neat. We're going to do you makeup.
I see. Dr. Schmitt, it's a pleasure.
Apollo pins to celebrate. I'm wearing 13 because I've met Jim Lovell. We've all met Fred Hayes. He's wearing 17 for
There
you,
you go, Nick.
and Angie's wearing 12.
Oh, well, get on.
We watched all your moonwalk movies yesterday.
Uh-oh. Well, don't tell anybody I fell down.
We love that part.
They laughed and laughed.
Sir, it's a pleasure. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's a
Great to see
pleasure. You guys have a great night. Thank you.
Astronaut Dr. Schmitt. Okay, we're going to take a quick trip to the moon tonight. I know this has been built a little bit about Mars, and I guess what I'll say at first is that if you're going to go to Mars, you're going to have to do at least as well as we did with Apollo, all right? And so we'll talk a little bit about Apollo. For reference, Neil and Buzz landed about there in the southern part of the Sea of Tranquility. We were about 600 kilometers north and somewhat east of where they landed. In fact, we had a relatively short time coming around the moon to get state vector updates and things like that before we went into our powered descents to land on the surface. People often ask me, well, what would you do if that Ascent engine hadn't ignited, the one that I just showed you? Yeah, well, we have a lot of different ways to get that engine ignited. A lot of redundancy and backup and things like that. But in the final analysis, if it hadn't ignited, we had something that you probably all have in your pickups, and that's jumper cables. And the idea was that one of us, whoever had the lowest link rate suit, would go outside and attached these jumper cables to batteries in the descent stage. The person who went out was back in the cabin. You would attach the other ends of the jumper cables to 2 circuit breakers that would immediately open the valves of the engine, and you would be on your way, trailing that jumper cable behind you. and the door flapping in the, you might call it on the breeze. But we had it on board. We never obviously had to use it, but it's always good to remind yourself to be prepared, right? Well, we did finally leave the moon. This was our entry, my entry into the Earth Rising over the Moon sweepstakes, which Apollo 8 already won with the first mission, which photographed this scene, and really a remarkable sight to see. And it also meant that you had acquisition of signal from the Earth, and they had it from you, and you indeed would have been on your way home, provided it occurred at exactly the right time. And it did for us as it did for everybody else. And it just was a remarkable experience for me, and I think a remarkable, even more remarkable experience for the country as a whole. Thank you very much. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer. Called the Marius Hills. There were several others that were under consideration. Most of us liked very much the Taurus Electro site because it gave us 3 dimensions. Geologists love their 3 dimensions. The mountains on either side of the valley were very high. We could get samples from those mountains because boulders could roll down from them. It just looked like a very productive place for geologists to work.
Thank you for watching this Solar Eclipse Timer episode. I realize this is not exactly about total solar eclipses, but I thought it was an appropriate aside to report on a timely Apollo event. As eclipse chasers, of course, we all love the moon. This event at the U.S. Space and Rocket Center reminded me of something. As we educate young eclipse chasers about the sun, earth, and moon astronomy, don't forget to teach them a little about the legacy of the Apollo program. 12 NASA astronauts walked on that beautiful moon that we love so much. I have relevant links in the description below, and this video ends with a 60-second scroll listing the Apollo moon missions and the astronauts. If you like the information I am providing, please subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below. Also click on the little bell that will pop up. That will make sure you are notified when I release new episodes about solar eclipses. Also post comments and questions. If you don't feel like subscribing now, that's okay too. Just check in on this channel, because my goal is to make it the best YouTube channel to prepare people for solar eclipses. Make plans for the next total solar eclipse in the United States, April 8th, 2024. Thanks again. I appreciate your time.